I'm really sorry. Just give me a second. My system is not responding.
What you do is you close this one, PowerPoint. Once again, you share it.
That will take a lot of time. Give me a second.
Should I share?
No. Just give me a second. I've done some changes, so I will share. In the meantime, Praveen, if somebody has questions, can you please take those on the introduction part?
Okay, any generic questions you have?
Yeah, Ajit here from Mumbai Tower team.
Ajit, please tell me.
Yeah, I had one question. Like this certification would be for the green interiors, would be part of a branch. Okay, we were pursuing for the complete tower. See, we have a branch which is the part of the tower. So we were exploring for the certification of complete tower. So just wanted to know the difference between the existing building and the green interiors.
Yeah. See, any building which is actually starting from concept, that means you are actually starting by design. That means building is not there. You have just a site and you're planning to have a new building. Okay, that means you are just visualizing the building. It is not yet in the constructed. So those that kind of building actually going to go into IGBC new building category. It's completely building should be addressed. Okay. Second category is the building is already existing, which is more than 1 year old. Then it has a chance to go under existing building category. Okay, entire building, because the building should be owned by you. It is not leased.
Yeah.
The building should be owned by you. Then it can go under new building category if it is starting from scratch. The building is already ready. 1 year completion, because for existing building we require some 1 year data actually. That's why we insist that the building should complete 1 year. So it can go under existing building category. For interiors, the building can be owned by you only for interiors, excluding the envelope. That means the outside site, features, landscaping, parking, nothing is there in the interiors. It is only interior fit out. Like for example, in a BKC building, where it is existing building, right? You actually attempted for existing interiors. There, excluding the interior envelope, only the interior feature being considered actually, like your furniture, your lighting, your flooring, carpet, the water fixtures, everything is considered. I think Akanksha is ready, I think.
Yeah, can you see my screen, Praveen?
Yes. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. If you've completed your answer, can I go ahead, Praveen?
Yeah, please start.
Yeah, please
Yeah,
go
sure.
ahead.
Is it still visible?
Visible. Akanksha, you unshared the screen.
Praveen, I'm sorry, my system is not responding. Can you take materials? I'll take this after switching it.
Yeah, okay. No problem.
Yeah, sorry.
That's why I asked you.
Yeah.
Okay. I will take up the materials module. Meanwhile, I think Akanksha, you restart the system so that it will work.
Yeah, sure.
So welcome to the first technical module, interior materials. So the materials, when you say, the material which will actually go into your interior fit out, the building construction. When we see the bill of quantities for any project, how do you quantify the materials? It normally depends on the architectural design or the interior design. Who actually does is design based on the client brief. Technically, for example, you have ICICI Bank, which 20 years back must have done some standardization of interior BOQ. Whereas after 5 or 6 years, once they see different branches arriving at, they actually familiar that this will become the standard bill of quantities. After some time, this particular bill of quantities will become standardization. So once you become the bill of quantities becomes standardization, you actually explore different materials with sometimes it also has a feature of import. Like for example, not today, but let's say for example 5 years back, when you design any interior office, we used to see the entire model of furniture or entire lighting we used to import actually from outside other countries. Or let's say for example, you're talking about carpet, we used to import outside. Whereas some percentage, like let's say 40%, 50%, we actually do in-house customization within the same office, whereas remaining will be completely depend on the import. So those kind of things we have seen so many things after before 5 years actually. Whereas slowly with the green building inception, the mindset actually changed with architects, interior designers. Today, there is a small percentage that voluntarily they're also actually changing from virgin resources to how can they reuse the old materials into the fit outs. We have been seeing in many projects. Let's see how the interior materials has a role in the green interiors. And why this has got an importance in green interiors is because in the not only in the interiors category, even the buildings. If you see the Indian our oils, normally 80 to 90% we actually import for all your vehicles, right? If you use continuously, what happens? Definitely, as per World Energy 2014, in 15 to 20 years time, entire oil reserves going to exhaust. Similarly, you see iron ore. Without iron ore, we cannot build the construction. This is one of the main source of construction. Even as per some of the reports, it says that our iron ore will going to run off within next 20 to 25 years. This is also a fact. Similarly, coal. Many people say that our grandchildren will see the coal in the museum. So that also just 80 years is going to lost as per Central Electric Authority. Of course, the forest globally, many of the stats say that our Earth is losing the forest cover at the rate of land of Greece. If every year we lost the Greece, you can see in a very recent thing that climate change is happening, and Paris Agreement happened in the 2015 agreement, and this will happen very soon because the cutting of the trees, it will have major impact on the global GHG emissions. This one in our own field today, we are also seeing that the sand mining. Sand is not available for your construction. We are actually forced to depend on the river sand for all the construction, right? But this sand is also not available because in the construction, you see, they are also now using for alternative sand, which is called as M sand. So that is already we are seeing in our today's time. The interiors, there is one mandatory requirement called as separation of waste post occupancy, and we have the credits: waste management, local materials, recycled content materials, salvage materials, eco-friendly wood-based materials, eco-certified interior furniture, purchase of green consumables. In here, we have in new interiors, the purchase of new green consumables is not applicable, whereas existing interiors only two are applicable. One is eco-certified interior furniture and the purchase of green consumables. So accordingly, we'll position the slides. First, coming to the mandatory requirement, separation of waste post occupancy. Our intent is to segregate waste as source. The common sources that we do is dry waste at offices like paper, cardboard, the plastics, the containers, and some wet waste like tea bags kind of thing. So our compliance requirement is very simple. The project need to have separate bins for dry waste and wet waste. We also want a small category for e-waste also. E-waste may not be daily. It may be happens sometimes monthly, sometimes 6 monthly once. So you want separate bins for these 3 categories. Also, a consolidated centralized location for dry waste, one place where they can bring the paper, plastic, metals, glass, etc. Then for wet waste, in case you have a kitchen, you can actually have this food waste separately. Then e-waste, you can also name it as electronic parts, lamps, batteries. This can be at a centralized location for the project. These are the normal conventional material that we recommend for the segregation. Whereas in case the project is having a specific type of waste, for example, if it's a hospital type, the waste will have some hazardous waste also. They got hospital waste. That means the syringes, so many things will be there. So for that, in addition to these 3 categories, they need to do separate segregation actually. So I count our interiors rating. So these are the minimum things they should do. Typically, when you see the construction of interiors, what we see is the wood waste products waste will be there. Some portion of glass waste will be there. Very small portion of steel will be there. Paints, finishes, coatings, adhesives will be there. Some stone, ceramic products. Then electrical cabling, wiring will be there. Then some plastic products also will be there. Concrete, cement, bricks, wood waste, aluminum waste. So these are the common waste normally we see. So the next comes is the waste management. How do you do the construction waste management during the installation of the interior fit outs? Our intent is here manage material waste to avoid waste being sent to landfills. So we have the diversion strategies to minimize waste being sent to landfills. So we use one is the reuse principle. That means whatever waste you see at the site, for example, you have aluminum waste, you have steel waste, or you have some MDF waste, or you have some kind of the flooring waste. These waste will be segregated at the site and will reuse sometime within the site wherever it is possible. Let's say, for example, if the building is there, we see a lot of concrete waste that can be reused in the as a waterproofing material in the toilets. Or suppose you have a brick waste that can be reused as a brick cover waste for a waterproofing. Suppose you have some waste piece of steel that can be reused in the same site for the fabrication of some steels or fabrication of some lintels in the project. So once again, it depends on the project category. It may be interior fit outs, maybe the application will be lower. For a building, it may be application will be very high. And also selling. One is reusing in the same site. One is selling of the materials. So what we can sell, for example, aluminum waste, steel waste, we can definitely sell to the local recycler. So that instead of going to landfill, what we're doing, we're diverting landfill to the manufacturing place. Similarly, in the first one also, reuse, instead of going to landfill, we are diverting to the same site for reuse. The third one is donation. For example, you have a wood waste or some other waste which is very useful to other projects. You can actually donate to them also. So we have seen reuse. You can sell the waste. You can also donate. These are 3 kinds of diversion methods you can use to divert the waste from the landfills. For example, wood waste, the carpet waste, paint containers, segregation waste, segregation of metals. You see carpet waste. When you have carpet waste, we may think it doesn't have any impact when you just throw the landfills. But a carpet vendor coming and taking by your carpet, what happens is this carpet can be a recycled content in the new carpet. Let's say, for example, you're having a carpet which you bought 10 years back. Let's say it is from some Milliken or some interface. Today, the Milliken or interface, they're coming today. You are placing order with the same vendor. what happens is they'll take back the old carpet and put into the manufacturing place. This actually becomes the recycled content into the new carpet. When you take a new carpet, we commonly say the recycled content will be 30%. The 30% component is actually made from the recycled component of the old carpet actually. Similarly, wood waste. When you give this wood waste to a recycler or donate or give to the manufacturing place, when they manufacture a table, a furniture piece, let's say it is made from MDF table, the wooden pieces will be crushed powder and reused into the MDF. That means it can be a 10% recycled content or 50% recycled content of the product actually. So all these metals can be easily recyclable when you send to the manufacturer. So like this, that's why we say that when you have a segregation in place at source, similarly dry and wet waste at the post occupancy, this is during construction. The second one is the local materials. Here we encourage the projects to procure all the materials that are required for the interior fit outs for installations within a very closer distance as much as possible. As per our interiors, our standard is you can source material within 500 kilometers radial distance. But we recommend that you should source materials within a closer distance as much as possible so that you can reduce the transportation and also thereby decreasing the embodied energy of the material also. So, but the maximum distance available is 500 kilometers from the project site. So we can actually produce some pictures, applications where this material may use. For example, you have a marble. Let's say this project, what you're seeing, the left hand side is the Italian marble. Let's say, for example, Italian marble means you must have imported material also. If the marble is local, you can show that this marble is procured from 70 kilometers from the project site, or this is imported 1000 kilometers from project site. When you say 70 kilometers, it will meet the requirement, whereas 1000 kilometers means it doesn't meet the requirement. When you say gypsum partition, when you say all my gypsum products, gypsum boards are procured within 100 kilometers from the project site, that means all it meets the requirement. Similarly, when you see carpet, let's say my carpet I have procured from 2000 kilometers or maybe 5000 kilometers. That means this doesn't meet the requirement. Whereas I procured a carpet within less than 500 kilometers, that means it meets the requirement. So let's say, for example, you have 10 materials A, B, C, D like this, and entire materials, the cost is 1 crore. 2 or 3 materials have been procured within more than 500 kilometers. That means they will not qualify. Whereas 7 materials which are there, they are actually less than 500 kilometers. That means out of 1 crore, let's say 30%, let's say you take 30 lakhs. 30 lakhs is imported and it is more than 500 kilometers. Whereas balance 70% actually meets the requirement because they are actually less than 500 kilometers. So against 1 crore, if you are meeting 70 lakhs of the worth of the material, that means you meet all the credits, intent, and also there is chance of meeting the innovation also in this credit. So you should see every material in a breakup way, and we will not say that suppose one material is not meeting the intent doesn't mean that product is not meeting. It is a cumulative actually. That means that out of 100 products, 30 products are not meeting, but 70 products are still meeting the requirement. That means still the project can qualify and also achieve the credit points. Similarly, even the recycled content also. When you say recycled content, we are looking for materials which are actually having some recycled content actually. Like I said, carpet with some 10% recycled content, vitrified tile with some 15% recycled content. When you use aluminium, let's say 20% recycled content. MDF boards, 30% recycled content is there. So you should source materials which has got some portion of recycled content actually. The recycled content will be done at the time of manufacturing. So generally when you see there are 2 types actually. One is we call as post-industrial waste and post-consumer waste. In interiors, we may use less of post-industrial waste, whereas post-consumer waste we may also use more actually. Whereas in buildings, we use both in a high percentage. When it's a post-industrial, let's say I will give an example. You take fly ash blocks. The fly ash, which is used to make the fly ash blocks, which is coming from thermal plants. That means no way it is connected to the consumers like us. It is directly coming from manufacturing place to the site where it is done, and the brick is made and used in the building application. Similarly, wood chips, it is not coming directly contact with the consumer. Once the wood chips are there, it is directly sent to the recycler. From there, it goes to manufacturing place. The MDF boards or the furniture boards are made. Once again, it is brought to the facility to assemble, or they can use fabrication. So these are called as post-industrial, where it is not contact with the consumer. Whereas some products, like example glass, glass is both post-industrial as well as post-consumer, because glass we also use in our homes or offices. Newspapers, Tetra Paks that are used to do a drink, right? Juice. It's called Tetra Pak cups. So these are called as most post-consumer waste. Let's say, for example, you collect some 4,000 Tetra Paks at your office, and you donate to some manufacturer. They can actually make a neat bench or table with the Tetra Paks, or they can produce some kind of furniture also. Because today, even with Tetra Paks, we are able to produce some furniture. Paper, definitely you know that our paper, newspaper, it is recyclable actually n number of times. Bulbs, used bulbs, when you use through the bulbs, that also can be used. Plastics have been used in different means. The third category is salvage materials. Here, our intent is to extend the life of old materials without having a dependency on the virgin resources. That means for an application, we are procuring a new materials always, new materials. Each actually what happens? We are actually once again extracting, manufacturing. It is having high energy actually. That means when you want a aluminium, you are forced to extract ore. You are making the material, once again sent to the manufacturing. From there you are procuring and using as a furniture or fabricating element. Whereas when you reuse same material, you are cutting up all these things. That means the embodied energy is completely decreased. That's why when you use old materials, without compromising the strength of the materials. That means, let's say, for example, there is a old furniture in your old office, 20 years old or 30 years old. When you bring in that furniture item to your new facility, once you sit, it should not break. You should actually test the strength. If required, you should refabricate the furniture in such a way that it has more strength and also lives for next 20-30 years. So that also has got a more impact. Let's say, for example, you procure a new material for, let's say, 30,000 rupees for each furniture, and when you procure a old material for second-hand market, it is only 5,000 rupees. Whereas when you refabricate the same furniture, and it's costing, let's say, for example, 10,000 rupees, but in the bill of in the quantification, you can consider 30,000 rupees as the price. Why? Because your requirement is met through the solid material also. Because your requirement, the functionality is met through even with the second-hand material, but with a refurbishment of the furniture or fabric kind of things. Let me show you some examples also. This particular office is a architecture office at Ahmedabad. You see all the old doors for this office. Ahmedabad, Gujarat has got a lot of second-hand market where they also have a tradition of very crafted doors actually. So he bought 2 doors for his office, and it is almost, I think, 80 to 90 years old doors actually. He refurbished, refabricated the furniture, polished and reused in the furniture. You see the 2 sofas. That is almost, I think, when his childhood, I think that those sofas are from his home actually. So he actually changed the fabrics. He changed the net and used it into the office actually. So for example, you see here the pictures. He has actually bought the old this one cycle chain kind of thing, once again welded, and the same sofa top. What it does is he actually procured the this fabric from the waste fabric from the store, because these are all sample pieces actually. When you open a catalog of a blind or something, you see the fabric, right? These are old samples from the blind actually. He taken that samples and completely reused for his furniture. You see all the cushions for the chairs, everything is used for the old chairs. The fabric sourced from the facility where it is actually waste for the supplier. As you can see, samples of fabric catalogs has been reused to the furniture. Today, he may use 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, but it is actually solving the application. His functionalities are solved actually. That is what we actually meant. Similarly, you see this one. This facility is in Noida, designed by Romy Khosla. He's a very famous architect. And this is Volvo office, HR Volvo office. When they first designed their building, Volvo has missions to put into this building actually. So what they do is all these missions come in pine crates, wooden pine crates. So the architects are carefully segregated all these pine crates somewhere after putting the missions in the floor. And these pine crates have been cut and they actually made the furnitures for the employees. They have close to 2,000 employees and they made 2,000 furnitures. That means normally when they place an order for a workstation, it may cost some 25,000 to 30,000 rupees or 40,000 rupees, depending on their own size, shape, kind of thing. So that means he's actually saving by using the pine wood for the furniture. Similarly, he used the same furniture of pine wood for the ceiling elements. Entire ceiling is completely exposed actually. So only if there is hanging ceiling, which is once again used by pine wood. He can use any other wood also, but the pine wood, which is a low quality and waste product, actually about to go to landfills, but he has reused same wood into the space in terms of decorative elements, in terms of furniture kind of thing. That means the life of the product actually enhances now. Instead of let's say for example 10,000, the product life also value also gone up by 10 times. So likewise, that is what I'm talking about, extend the life. So this is the third category in the green interiors. Then eco-friendly wood-based materials. This is the fourth category, where, for example, you have some 1,000 cubic feet of wood requirement in your office. You can source teak wood also. You can source any other wood. But when you see the timber, the normal life, the maturity life is 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years for each tree. For example, if it's a teak wood, the maturity time is 25 years, 30 years. Then only you can cut, seasoning, and use it for your furniture. What we are saying is minimize use of new wood. That means you can use wood from a rapidly renewable material. That means the wood which can be harvested very fast, quickly. It's called rapidly renewable materials. Those are bamboo. The bamboo tree can be harvested within a cycle of 1 year to 3 years. Very fast growing tree. Eucalyptus 3 years to 4 years. That means within 4 years, the eucalyptus tree grows very fast. You can also cut, season it, and use for furniture. So we are promoting the trees which can be harvested in a cycle of 10 years time. So you can source multiple trees instead of teak, instead of white oak, sycamore kind of thing, regular trees which can be harvested in a cycle of 5 to 10 years time and used for their furnitures. Other alternative is composite wood. That means the products which are made from wood waste, agri-based waste, or recycled wooden chips is called as composite wood. So these are the sources you can actually procure your furniture from. So once again, intent is same thing. We want to reduce the deforestation and also dependence on the trees which take longer time. So rubber wood, eucalyptus, bamboo you can use for floorings, panelings. Eucalyptus you can use for all the applications. Then of course the MDF you can use for all applications. Of course, depending on the application, you should once again focus whether it is used for furniture. Furniture definitely should prefer a timber. If it's a paneling or furniture, normal workstations, they can prefer the MDF also. Then recycled wood, which is made from the wooden chips. Bagasse. Bagasse is a sugarcane waste. You can produce doors, the furniture everywhere. Rice husk also. There are so many particle boards are made from rice husk. So like this, you can actually source. You can do some research and see what is the material, what is the recycled content in that particular product. Accordingly, you can use the application actually. The last one is ECO certified interior furniture. So what we are saying is, whenever you procure a furniture, because when you procure a furniture, that means it is not customized made in the in your office. Actually, it is actually bought out item. You are buying a furniture, you are buying a sofa set, you are buying some kind of chair outside. So when you are procuring some material or some furniture, please look for whether that particular product has got a eco label. For furniture, there are several eco labels actually. One is BIFMA, we say BIFMA 2, BIFMA level 2, then Green Guard certification. Also we have Green Pro, which is Indianized. BIFMA and Green Guard are not Indian, but you can also, it's actually equally I can say certified. So that also can be used because that is there since many years, BIFMA and Green Guard. And Green Pro, latestly we are just had 1 or 2 years back only some certified some furnitures. So definitely they actually give a certificate for your chair, for furnitures, for cabin tables, for also some kind of meeting tables. Also we have certification from Green Guard, BIFMA and Green Pro also. So like this certificate they actually give. Let's say, for example, you are sourcing one company. Let's say in his catalog there are 100 models. Please note, all the 100 models will not qualify under this certification. Only 1 or 2 will only have the eco label. So you should specifically see in the manufacturing, once you finalize the manufacturer, out of his 20-30 models, which are the models are actually qualifying these categories, whether it is Green Guard or BIFMA or Green Pro. You just finalize it, and according to your budget, you can select in for your furnitures or for your office actually. For the existing fit outs, we are including a credit called purchase of green consumables. That means whenever you procure some consumables, for example, for printing you procure paper. If you procure a recycled paper, then the product is eligible for achieving this credit. When you're maintaining a housekeeping, when you procure a eco-labeled, eco-friendly housekeeping product for your projects, then also the product is eligible for attempting this credit. Then when a product is declaring entire office no use plastics, then also the credit is eligible. So you can actually submit a simple declaration on the head of the project or the manager project so that we can consider it. You can show some pictures of the housekeeping chemical that are using in the project or about to procure, and also the simple narrative from the head of the project. So as I've seen, we have seen the waste management during construction and how do you do segregation drive and wet waste for the mandatory requirement. And we have seen local materials. When you see the bill of quantity itself, you can tick it off that these materials we can source from the within 500 kilometers. And the materials which cannot be sourced within 500 kilometers, I think you can highlight separately. Then recycled content also, when you see the list of materials very clearly, you can see that what is the recycled content also. In case you want some support from IGBC, you can list in the Excel sheet all the materials and you can share us. We can put tentative recycled content of each material also. One more thing is there. If instead of showing recycled content, when you procure directly the Green Pro certified material itself, then no need to show recycled content actually. By default, it is actually eligible for meeting the credit number 3. Similarly, solid materials we have seen how to extend the life of old materials to new life and a new application. Then we said the eco-friendly wood-based materials where you can take the timber or wood which is having a harvesting cycle of less than 10 years. Or you can source from eco-engineered wood. And also the furniture which is there for banks, you can source it is having eco-labeled brand. So that's it from the materials point of view. Any queries on the materials? Open to questions. Yeah, please. Joshi had raised the hand. Please.
I just had a query.
Yeah, please go on.
So the percentage what you were talking about, 70% or 65%, that percentage will be on the total cost of the project, or you'll take number of item used in the project, out of which the as per your standard, if 65 items are there, which can be certified, and other 35 item is not, means out of 100, if I am making a list that I have used 100 items in my project, out of which 65 items are there, which can get certification from your end, so that you can rate. So you'll go through the items which are going to be used, or financials of that particular item.
Yeah. Let's say, for example, you have 10 products in the entire project, 10 projects, and it is coming to some, let's say, 10 lakhs. Okay. Two of the materials are not qualifying for recycled content or local materials because they're out of the 500 kilometers, and also they don't have recycled content actually. Okay. Remaining 8 materials are within the 500 kilometers range and also meeting the recycled content. That means it will follow both credits. Okay. And coming to the cost, let's say, for example, the total material costs, which is civil and interiors only, excluding your air conditioning, excluding your lighting, excluding your plumbing. Only the civil and interiors only should count. For example, that is 10 lakhs. Okay. The 10 lakhs also, in the template we said that it can be 60% of the material cost, and 40% can be removed actually. That means let's say, for example, total material cost including labor, everything is 10 lakhs. You should only consider the material cost on that is 60%, which is 6 lakhs. So against the 6 lakhs, you should show the percentage actually. So tomorrow, when you do the exercise, I will show you how to do it.
Okay.
You'll get more clear.
Thanks.
Yeah. If there are no questions, we can start eco design. Where can we get the doors made of sugarcane? I think we can share some context, because our green building, CI building, our main doors are actually made from bagasse only. Even some of the furniture is actually made from bagasse. All the workstations are made from bagasse. So we can definitely share some context from our GBC building.
Sir, I just want to know that a door made of the sugarcane, will it be fire prone, that if there is a possibility of fire, that it will catch the fire immediately, or it will be better for any VWP ply that we can use, that will be better. I just want to compare, if we compare it.
See, wooden doors definitely catch fire. I can't promise it is a prime fire proof, but today, see, when you go for application, that means you have a unique requirement. That means unique requirement is I wanted a 2-hour fire rated or 4-hour fire rated. That means it has a different product altogether. So you may not get in the bagasse or some other wood-based material, but you may get in steel doors. Whereas even some timber doors I've seen where they have a fire rating of 2 hours. So there will be specific grade, because they cannot use the standard, what I'm saying today, that you should use recycled wood or timber wood or some other wood, engineered wood. For fire doors, there is specific standard technical specification they should follow. So we cannot actually compromise on the fire rating. So there we need to follow whatever you require, because that is your requirement, your functional need. So you may forego the credit, but you should actually safeguard your client requirement, right? Because fire safety is very, very important. So there you may lose 1 or 2 points all, but you cannot discount for a credit point. That's what my suggestion actually.
Okay, or any PVC door or any acrylic sheet in interior, it is not advisable. Acrylic sheet or PVC door.
Acrylic sheet you can use. What is there? It's only PVC door. Okay, you can use, no problem.
No problem, no?
No problem.
Okay.
Any other questions? Yeah. Joshi is. Okay, Akansha, go on, Akansha. Akansha, go ahead.
Can you see my screen, Praveen?
Yes, yes. Keep it to full screen.
Yeah. Can you see it now?
Yes.
And can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay. So first of all, sorry everyone, it was some problem for my system. And for the next 25 minutes, we are going to discuss on a very interesting and a very small topic of eco-design approach. Okay, so this is actually the first module in our green interior rating system. And in this module, we have 5 credits. Both for new interiors as well as existing interiors, and the credits are eco-vision for interior design, optimizing the circulation spaces, public transportation proximity, occupancy in a green facility, and commercial lease term or ownership. And the total weightage of this module is 8 points. Okay, so let's straight away get into the concept of what is called as eco-vision for interior design. So basically, eco-design or eco-vision is an approach. It's basically an approach to minimize the negative impact on the environment by adopting and implementing sustainable design strategies right from the concept to the implementation and then to the operations. Okay, so though it looks very complicated, the basic idea over here is we want to reduce the negative impact on the environment by adopting few strategies. Okay, now let's look at what are the strategies we are talking when we talk about the eco-vision in interior design. The first strategy is vernacular architecture or vernacularity. Okay, now how to define vernacularity? I'll ask you a very simple question. If you can please unmute and tell me, can you please guess the place looking at the picture over here? There's a beautiful picture in front of you. Can one of or two of you unmute?
It's
Sorry,
LAP.
sir.
LAP Kerala.
Very accurate, sir. Anybody else? Anyone else? Any other guesses? Okay, so sir, right, sorry, yes sir?
Yeah, it's only.
It's, I'm sorry?
This is same.
Same,
LAP
yes.
only.
Ernakulam. Okay. So yeah, basically all of you are correct. It's a picture from Kerala because there is a boathouse, there is backwater, and there are coconut trees. So we can all relate to it. Okay. Now, vernacularity is also something similar to this picture. That when you see this picture, you relate to the traditional or something which is related to the old traditions of this place. So vernacularity also plays a very significant role. For example, there is one school of architecture that we have certified under green interiors. Okay, and this is the auditorium of this. This is also in Kerala, Kochi. And the structure over here, which you see, is called as a Kutambalam. It's basically where in olden times it was close to a temple, and all the folk dance and folk performances, art and culture used to happen in this place. Now, this School of Architecture wanted to do something similar, wanted to bring the old traditions of Kerala into the design. So what they did is this Kutambalam was already there, but was in a very bad shape. It was about 200 kilometers away from Kochi, and this structure is about 150-year-old. So the architect B.R. Rajat, who is the director of Asadi College of Architecture, what he did is he assembled all the structural elements of the Kutambalam, brought it here, made a good civil structure around it to make it more strong and sustainable. And this now plays the role of an auditorium for the students. So when you sit inside, this auditorium, you still get a feel that you're sitting in a Kutambalam, enjoying the local art and culture of the place. And this is how vernacularity plays a very important role. Apart from vernacularity, when we talk about eco-vision, now, that is something which might not be possible in a corporate office or in something like a bank. So this is a beautiful example which I wanted to highlight. This is recently a platinum certified project, Dell Crystal Down. We have certified in Bangalore. And, the floor plan is very wide. So basically people, sitting on the other side of the floor were not able to get views to the outside. So they wanted to have something in such a way which resembles nature. They cannot give a view to the nature. So what they did is, in the center space, basically they created this courtyard theme where they used this chipboards, which are basically salvage. It's waste. The waste chipboards they have assembled together, created a tree out of it, and they have used the stretchable fabric light to give a feel that it's an atrium, and the natural daylight is falling into the space, and people can sit around it. It won't give you the feeling that you are into the natural space, but yeah, they have tried to bring nature inside. And this is what ecovision justifies, that basically the strategies where you reduce the impact because you have used such salvage material, but you have tried to do something which is closer to the nature. So this is the vernacularity part. The second part of ecovision is health and well-being. So this is a project which we have certified, the D-Shaw project, Hyderabad. And here, if you see, when we talk about the health and well-being of occupants for IT companies, for I would say banks, where the majority of the resources are the people. And it's very important that the productivity of the people are maintained. And for doing that, their stress levels should be low. They should feel connected to nature. And what they have done is they should have some health and well-being facilities within the premises. Now they had an complete terrace which they have designed in such a way that you can come, you can hang out. There are bean bags, there are couches where you can sit close to the nature, view to the outside. But if it is not possible for a very small space, if you can even provide a small couch corner, where you have few books, like a library, which can be motivating books, which can be management related books. If you have a small table where you can have a chessboard, so that people can come play chess, or can engage for some time. These kind of very small activities also results into health and well-being for the occupants. The third part is space efficiency. Now, when I say space efficiency, all these features, though, are also part of the rating system. But basically, in the credit, which is eco design, you have to justify that, while designing the space, were all these things a part of your vision? Okay. So when I say space efficiency, is there ample space for people to walk around? Is there proper circulation space that people feel that, yes, I have this much amount of space, I can walk, it fits into the green design concept? Do you have enough informal spaces where people can hang out with the colleagues? So this is the overall concept of space efficiency. The next ecovision concept is materials and resources. So as we have already heard from Praveen, the concepts of local material, recycled materials, rapidly renewable materials, salvage material. Can a project think of doing something innovative? Maybe everything would not be possible. Maybe it's not part of the signed plan. Maybe it is out of budget, but at least something which can be incorporated into the project. Can we look into something which is innovative? And last but not the least are few passive features. So basically passive features are something where you design as per the local climatic conditions so that the occupants feel well-being and comfort, and it minimizes the sick building syndrome. So basically they feel close to nature. For example, light shelf is one of the passive feature, where if you have a wider floor plan, if you cannot get natural light directly, can you put a light shelf from where the daylight is trapped into the light shelf through multiple reflection, it is given to the space where it is required. Okay, or can you have such openings which is there in the project, which might not be possible for a smaller space? Now the concept which I've brought over here in the eco design or the eco vision, which is the credit one, you don't have to do everything out of the 5 points we have discussed. What has to be done is only 2 out of the 5. So if you can go ahead with good materials, and if you can go ahead with space efficiency, that is sufficient for you to achieve the 2 points. But these are multiple options because the projects can explore whatever they would like to do. And for doing that, you need to provide us a proper narrative. So narrative is very important because, when a project submits a narrative to the third party assessor, which Praveen has said that because our reviews are done by the third party assessors and we do a quality check of what he's doing. So those are experts. So when you want to, communicate what your project has done, narrative plays a very important role. If you put very simple words, but if you justify that, this was the constraint and this is maximum what the project could have done and this is what we have done, it gives a very good impression. And along with narrative, few photographs of the features which has been implemented. So this is the first credit, which was the ecovision design. Second is the optimized circulation spaces. So basically it is somewhat related to the concept of space efficiency. You have to design interiors to ensure optimum circulation space to ensure safety and well-being of the people. So basically what happens if this becomes the area of space planning, and if the space planning is proper, somehow it fits into the green design concept. So if you design your interior spaces such that the circulation area is 25% of the carpet area. Now, when I say circulation area, how do you calculate circulation area, which becomes very important. So basically what you do is if you look at the table over here, okay, so you have 3 floors, you have basement, ground floor, first floor, you have different area types. Then you put what are the total areas. From the total area, which is the total carpet area, you have to subtract if there is any furniture, if there is any equipment, if there is any storage which you have done. And once you subtract the total area from the furniture and all this area, what is left behind is the circulation area. And the circulation area, according to the compliance, should be at least 25% of the carpet area, which I think is pretty much doable. We have seen majority of the projects achieve this 1 point through 25%. And if you go to the extent of 30% of the total carpet area, having circulation space, you get 2 points. Okay. So basically the carpet area is the usable office space on any floor. You exclude the walls. You exclude the walls, and whatever is left behind is the carpet area. From that carpet area, then you subtract the furniture area, equipment area, storage area, and what is left behind is your circulation area. So I hope this is clear. And in this credit, what all you need to submit is, you need to submit this table, which clearly says what are the different floors. In every floor, what are the different areas. And then the type of area, the total area, the furniture area, and the circulation area. You also need to submit a plan, something like this, which says that, okay, on this floor, this is going to be my workstations, this is going to be my storage area, and this much area I'm providing for people to walk around. So this is the second criteria, which is optimized circulation spaces. This is one of the example, Hero Electric, which is also IGBC certified projects in Delhi. So you can see what they have done. They have this workstations on one side, then they have workstation on the other side, and in between they have these planters which are separating the 2 zones, and a lot of circulation space for people to move around. So these are the 2 criteria which we have discussed. The third criteria is public transportation proximity. Okay, now this criteria, the intent is to encourage eco-friendly transit facility to minimize the environmental impacts which is associated with automobile use. So for example, we are in Delhi and the project is very close to a metro. All of us would like to take metro, right? Because it is more convenient, it's faster, we don't have to deal with the traffic. So it encourages us to take the transit if the transit is closer to us, but assume it is far away from us. Then we have to take one auto rickshaw from the office to the metro station, and then we have to go into the metro and then change the metro. Then it becomes a hassle. So thus a lot of people doesn't get encouraged if the office facility is not close to the public transportation proximity. So this is the intent with which this credit has been developed. So the compliance is pedestrian access to mass transit. So when I say pedestrian access, it should be, so basically for this also we have done stakeholder committee meetings and we have understood from a lot of people that, you know, do you think 800 meters is something people will walk, or can people walk to 1 kilometer? And they said, no, 800 meters is something which a lot of people will say, acha chalo 800 meter hai, let's go ahead with this. But if it is more than 800 meters, people might be interested to take into another, you know, auto rickshaw or something else. And thus a pedestrian access to a mass transit facility within 800 meters from the building entry, or in-house shuttle services. So if you provide a shuttle service to the nearest public transport facility, that is also fine with us. So if you do that, you know, you are eligible for 1 point. And how to meet the requirement? You have to show a vicinity map. So you have to show that, you know, see this RBL bank, if you could see the highlighted one. And closer to the bank, we have a bus station, which is only a 3-minute walking distance on the aerial map. If you can show us and show the details. So basically, it should not be a temporary auto stand that, you know, there are 2 or 3 autos standing and they can take you. That is not considered as a public transport. It should be a proper bus station or a metro station or a rail station. So something like that, which is proper. So this is the next criteria about the public transportation proximity. The next credit in this module is tenancy in a green facility. Now the intent is to encourage the tenants to occupy a green building project, minimizing the negative environmental impacts. Now, and the compliance is very simple, that if you take a space in an already certified green building, you get a point for it. basically you have to do nothing. You just have to show us a certificate that, you know, this is already a certified project, and we get a point. Now, why? The reason being that if somebody has already designed a green building, he would have taken into consideration features like sewage treatment plant, rainwater harvesting, you know, a proper I mean, the project would be designed in such a way that there'll be glass or there'll be view to exteriors, there'll be proper daylighting, you know, areas. So all these points would be easily achievable by the interior project which wants to go ahead. In fact, if the developer is also providing you the water fixtures, and if it is a IGBC or you know, certified project, then the water fixtures would already meet the requirement as per the dual flush and the aerators. So your work as a you know, organization also reduces, and at the same time it's basically for a bigger benefit, for a larger benefit. So if you select the interior space which is in a certified project, you get 1 point over here. Last but not the least is the commercial lease term or ownership. So the intent is encourage long-term occupancy to reduce the material consumption and thereby minimizing. Because what happens if you have occupied a space for a very less time and then you goes off and somebody else comes? Obviously, he's going to do the changes. He's going to do the changes in the interior furniture, the partition wall and everything. And then a lot of new material would be used. Wherein if you occupy a space for say 3 years or 5 years or 10 years, apart from few minor renovations or few things, more or less the furniture and everything is going to be intact. So you have created less harm, you have used less virgin materials, which if you would not have occupied the space for a longer period of time, somebody else would have damaged. So this is also a very easy point. Basically, if you have a lease agreement which is there for 3 years, you get 1 point. If you have an agreement for 5 years, you get 2 points. So it's a pretty easy credit to achieve. You just have to show us a lease agreement and you are thorough with it. So I hope this simple module was easy to understand, where we started with the eco vision for interior design, which is for 2 points, and then optimize circulation spaces, which is for another 2 points, where we discussed on how the circulation spaces has to be planned and it should be at least 25% of the carpet area. And then the next credit was, are you closer to a public transportation facility? The next point being, are you occupying a facility which is already certified? And last but not the least, do you have a lease term for at least 3 or 5 years? So I hope everybody would be clear with this. Okay, so we have a small quiz, and I would request if I can get some answers. So the question one is concept used to distribute natural light into spaces. So as I said, there are concepts where you can use natural light from outside and you can distribute into spaces as skylights, sunlight pipes, light shells, or all of the above. Can I get few answers?
All of the above.
All of the above. So absolutely right. Thank you so much. The next is the following up passive cooling measures. So passive cooling, as we have discussed, is something which is related to the climatic condition of the place. So from the passive measure are courtyards, jalis, water fountains, or all of the above. What are the measures which we will include in the passive?
All of the
Absolutely right, sir. And what is the minimum period of tenancy for a green interiors? It was the last credit we have just discussed.
3 years.
3 years. That's absolutely right, and I'm really happy that this answer was right. That means that yes, what I've communicated has been communicated to everybody attending. And the fourth is the following are mode of transportation which helps reduce carbon emissions. So what are the modes of such transportation? Is it carpooling, metro, buses, all of the above?
all of the above.
All the
Absolutely right. It's all of the above. So thank you very much. And if you have any questions, we can go ahead with this.
Thank you.
Are there any questions? I'm sorry, sir, you're not audible. So if there are no questions, Praveen, can we go ahead with water module, or what do you propose?
You take 2 minutes bio break, Akansha.
Acha, ठीक है. Okay. So it's 4:32. Can we start at 4:35?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll take it 2 minutes break and come back for the water module.